Hey guys, I'm Silvera, and today marks 1 week until my next book, They Both Die at the End, publishes. This is the edition that will be published in the US and Canada, and this is the beautiful edition that will be published in the UK. I'm really excited. I've worked on this book for 5 years, and it's very beautiful. There are end papers too, which are a plus. Today I'm sharing some fun facts about this book that I'm answering from questions that you guys sent me on Twitter. And before I do, I want to tell you a little bit about what's happening in the next week. If you pre-order the book before September 4th, you'll be entered to win annotated editions of all 3 of my books. So this also includes More Happy Than Not, my debut, and History's All You Left Me, which published in January of this year, and They Both Die at the End. And then if you don't get a chance to pre-order and you buy it in its first week, you will, any edition, it can be the hardcover or it could be the UK edition, you will be entered to win an annotated edition of your choice. I want to also make it really clear right now that this opportunity here is the only time we'll be annotating They Both Die at the End. It is very time consuming, so it is a very exclusive treat if you're interested. I'm also going to be touring pretty much all fall, so hopefully I'll get a chance to see you guys. For the first week I'll be in Georgia, New York, San Diego, the Bay Area, and Los Angeles, and then later in the month I'll be in DC, Philadelphia, Boston, and in October and November, just check my website, adamsilvera.com, and you'll be able to see other cities listed on the events page. With that, I want to kick into some of your questions. First question is from Cattastic. Oh, I have a question. Do reader tears grant you immortality or something? Like, why do you keep doing this to us, Adam? I'm sorry. I think I've written all these books when I was sort of in a dark place and just growing up, and yes, they do make me immortal. From @ClaneShip. Will you ever write a happy ending gay theme book? I mean, I just want one crying emoji, praying emoji. I'm sensing a theme here, guys. Again, yes, I will. I can't say much, but yes, I will definitely be writing one, and I have a couple more in mind as well. Just know that any book I write is never going to be a super fluffy happily ever after, because I think there are just so many authors out there who are doing a way better job at that than I possibly could, and I just also want to write for the teen and the reader who has faced hardship and whose happily ever after doesn't necessarily look like the one that we want for all our protagonists. But yes. Okay, from @TroyFinn2, who's awesome, hello. How did the date September 5th come about? Did you work the release date into the story or the other way around? So the book takes place, the story takes place on September 5th, which is also when the book publishes. I always, even when I was just working on the very first draft of this book, I thought it would be really cool to publish the book on the day that it takes place. So it just so happened to luck out that I was writing the book in a fall setting. So I think I originally had it set for like September, mid-September, and then when I got my pub date, I just readjusted by a week and made sure that I made the proper references to Labor Day and school starting and all these other things that didn't quite make sense. But yeah, so I think it's cool that you get to kind of experience Mateo and Rufus's last great adventure on the day that hit shelves. Alright, from @Howling Library, just one question, how do you sleep at night? I pass out to Netflix in my well air-conditioned room, cuddled next to my dog. Thanks. Alright, from @LittleMonsterJS, do any of your 3 books take place in the same universe, possibly More Happy Than Not, and They Both Die at the End? No, none of my books are connected, though you could see reason in More Happy Than Not and They Both Die at the End having similar worlds, since they are both in the speculative genre and very near future, but and because they both reference my fake demonic Harry Potter Scorpius Hawthorne, but I do not intend for these to be books that coexist in the same world. Alright, from @SaltyAsSugar, can I rub my gay little hands all over it? Yes, you may. @SaltyAsSugar, have at it. Alright, from @Baylicious_Books, Hogwarts houses of the characters. Mateo is definitely our resident Hufflepuff. And I think Rufus, I kind of go back and forth on Rufus. I think today, sorting hat on, I'm going to throw a Gryffindor robe on him. He's just, he proves very courageous, as Mateo does as well. I think you can reason that by the end of the book, they both show a lot of Gryffindor spirit, but Mateo's heart is like pure Hufflepuff. And it's one of the reasons I love him, and it's one of the reasons I wrote him. He's someone who I aspire to be, and Rufus is someone who is confronting a lot of anger, as I did a lot when I was younger and occasionally today, and the way that he sort of breaks out of that is very admirable. From @TheSwiftWave, is there any significance with the names of the characters, or are they just names you like? So, fun fact, I originally was going to write this story with a heterosexual couple at the helm, and I just couldn't find a name for a girl that I was really digging, and then I really just started thinking that I wanted to use this high concept world to tell a story for two boys, and because you don't see a lot of that. It's just a coming out story, which are great and still very necessary, but very rarely in a high concept story. So I kind of wanted to take that upon myself to do. The name Mateo, it was the name actually this kid from high school I haven't thought about in a while. Did not like him at all. Like, his name was Matthew, and his friends called him Mateo, and that name always kind of stuck with me. And then Rufus was the name of this kid on my block, and I actually see Rufus being used all the time now. Like, I think I know like 3 dogs named Rufus, and I kind of wanted to take it back for the humans. All right, from @MelissaY44812350. I don't know the significance of those numbers, but is They Both Die at the End standalone? Currently, yes. I think if I wanted to jump back into the world, which I absolutely have considered, there are opportunities for me to do so. I actually had 2 different books planned for in this world, but I just have other projects that I was more eager to jump to. So yeah, but it's definitely a standalone for these characters because, hello. From @DDReadsBooks, did you base any of the characters from yourself / personal experience? So I kind of said this already, but Mateo, I think, is the kind of person that we should all want to be. But he has like the best heart ever, and he's someone who I don't know, my best friend Cecilia, she just told me that that I'm way more Mateo than I realized, which I still disagree with, because Mateo is pure, he's the kind of person who you make a like what would Mateo do bracelet out of, and Rufus was sort of born from like, me, I don't know, dealing with a lot of anger like in my youth. Like, I had like major like temper problems, and I had always like said and done things that I regretted. So I wanted to sort of exhibit that in a character who doesn't necessarily have the time to rebuild his own reputation, and most importantly, see how these 2 characters interact. So I feel like in some ways they're like, I don't know, 2 halves of me, telling one whole story. Alright, and that's all good for questions. If you have any additional questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. And I hope you check out They Both Die at the End next week, September 5th in the US and September 7th in the UK, and let me know what you think. Alright, have a good one. Bye!